Hey, what's up, YouTube? Let's talk about Survivor Season 42 season finale. I was wrong again, basically. I prefaced it. I basically, in my tier list, had said, at the very beginning, I said Maryanne had like no chance at winning. And then as she was starting to make some moves later in the game, I started moving her up. And then in that very last episode before the finale, I moved her all the way up to S tier. And I recognized that most people are probably picking her as the number one pick to win the game. And even one of the people in the YouTube comments actually called me out and was like, I think you're reading the edit of Maryanne completely wrong. And they were right. So whoever said that early on, you were completely right that my read of the edit was really wrong. Let me take a look and see who that was. Here we go. Park Sung-hoon. I think you're misreading Maryanne's edit. So shout out to Park Sung-hoon for calling me out early on when I was misreading Maryanne's edit. But I did tell you, Lindsey, I still wanted to keep as my number one winner pick. But honestly, Maryanne had a lot more paths to victory. And so that ended up being true in the end. And it was very close. Like Lindsey really had this game in the bag if she had just played her idol for Omar. And if she, in this episode, had lived, if she had gotten that one puzzle piece in and made it to the next stage, I think she actually would have had a very good chance of making it to the final three and winning too, because she could have at least gotten herself to fire. So she was literally just one puzzle piece away. The big thing is that Maryanne would have needed to be taken out, because I think she still loses to Maryanne if both of them end up in final tribal together. So after Lindsey got voted out, I think her approach for trying to stay in the game was a little bit flawed. All throughout the episode, she was kind of like guilting people. Like, first of all, when she was arguing with Jonathan about, hey, you betrayed our alliance, how could you do this to me? When she was the one who actually betrayed Jonathan first by voting for him. So that was kind of hypocritical for her to do that. And then later she was just like really trying to guilt trip Mike into playing the idol for her, which I don't think is the right approach. I don't think most people are going to respond well to that. And I think, she's played an awesome social game, but I think these were kind of some flaws just right at the end of her game. She really should have appealed to his other side. You got to logic with him and reason with him. Try and tell him why keeping you would be a better idea than keeping somebody else. And so I think she failed to do that. And that was ultimately her downfall. Obviously, the Romeo playing a fake idol was just really hilarious, because I was just rewatching that clip again, and all the jury members were like, oh my God, they were like shocked that he was about to play something. And then he was like, I am not going to play this, and I'm going to throw this in the fire. And they were like, okay. So that was a kind of funny moment for sure. And a couple things just about, the editing for the last few episodes. I do want to say that I am getting a little bit tired of the way that Jeff is really trying to push this story and this like agenda on people. And by agenda, I mean, he's really trying to make everything this gut-wrenching, tear-wrenching, emotionally moving and impactful thing. Constantly before challenges going like, hey guys, this is the most dangerous challenge we've ever had. And it's like, you're hyping things up too much. It's very unnatural, and it takes away from us actually getting to see actual gameplay. We're just getting to see more Jeff. I want to see less Jeff, because Jeff is honestly taking up way too much screen time. And one of the problems is when you're trying to fabricate these, very moving, emotional, or motivational moments, it just starts to make everything seem really fake. Like, I just want things to develop naturally. I want natural, really cool moments to happen, or really, interesting, exciting, or motivational moments to happen. I don't want them to be forced, right? Because it's not fun to watch. And I think Jeff has just really been doing that way too much in the last two seasons. And I really hope for season 43 and 44 that they tone it down a little bit. But honestly, I don't really see them doing that, because they already got the feedback for season 41, and then in season 42, they really kind of kept doing the same thing. And Jeff is an executive producer now, so he probably has a large say in how things are edited. But I think it's really a big negative part of the game. And so much of the game now is like in tribal councils, where he's just asking question after question after question. And I'd much rather see more camp life and strategizing at camp than just, seeing all these like weird analogies that people are coming up with, and that Jeff is just asking all these questions in different ways. And they're, they used to just do like 4, maybe 5 questions, but now it's like they're doing like 10 to 15 questions every tribal. At least that's how it feels like to me. And the thing about this being the most important final tribal immunity ever is just objectively wrong. Like, this challenge has been done so many times already. This is the same situation that's been, that happens at the end of every Survivor season. And so I don't want to hear more about oh, like Jeff is starting to look at the camera and be like, hey, kids that are watching Survivor, take a look here. This is how you do it on Survivor. And one day you could be on here. I don't want to see that kind of stuff. I want it to be natural and less forced. So that's one big qualm that I had with the finale. And then finally, just at the very end, I wanted to talk briefly about Romeo taking Maryanne. I'm kind of wondering, after he won immunity, was there any other, alternative that could have improved his chance of winning the game? Did he have any other options? So I think him not taking Mike was definitely a great idea, because it sounds like a lot of the jury before going into Final Tribal actually already kind of had picked Mike as a very high person on their list. And actually a lot of people sounded like they were going to vote for Mike until Maryanne absolutely crushed it. So Romeo not picking Mike was definitely a good choice. But should he have taken Jonathan instead? Jonathan's game, I'm not sure how much people would have respected it. I think he did have a good social game, but didn't really have a good strategical game. And I think it might have been interesting if it was Jonathan and Romeo, and then Mike and Maryanne going off against each other in fire. In terms of Romeo really, improving his winning chances, though, I don't think there's any real way that he could have done so. Even if he had sent himself to fire and taken somebody out, taken Jonathan out, which first of all I would never see happening, because I don't think Romeo would be able to make a good fire and take them out. But really, Romeo at that point didn't have any way to increase his winning chances, in my opinion. I think he did the best job he could with what he had in terms of his Final Tribal performance. Obviously, the standout was Maryanne, who had really, really good answers for every single question. And so it was basically all written in the books at that point that she was going to win. And then Mike obviously fell into that flaw of thinking that he was a very honest player and played with a lot of integrity. And that did not obviously go well with the jury. So honestly, congrats to Maryanne for winning. I think she really did play a good game. Right now, the strategy and the meta is really to kind of lay low for most of the game and then just kind of go hard the last 2 episodes and then really just crush it in Final Tribal. And so that's basically what the last 2 winners have done. It is interesting that in both these last seasons, Erica was literally the next person who was going to get voted out had she not done the hourglass. And then Maryanne would have definitely been voted out early on in the season if she didn't have Jonathan there to just keep carrying every single one of those tribal immunity challenges. And she, even after the merge, she was one of the first people who was a target. So both of these players really just made it by the skin of their teeth to make it to Final Tribal and then end up winning the whole game. Let's take a look at some of the Reddit posts. So the new segment before Final Tribal is the best addition to the show in a long time. I loved seeing this reaction to the winner. And you can see the joy on everybody's faces when Maryanne won. I do think definitely she's somebody that's easy to root for, and it's a very satisfying person to win as well. I guess Mike got married recently, and here's a picture of him with a bunch of other people from the Survivor season. And we got Erica and Maryanne hanging out together. And I like this one, the most confusing argument from the finale. Jonathan, Lindsey shoots him. How could Jonathan betray our alliance? Oh yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite ones. So, Mike, when immunity is on the line, I sleep. Mike, when immunity and garlic bread are on the line. Real shit. And that's obviously talking about how he went absolutely ham in the immunity challenge where he beat Lindsey by literally one puzzle piece. Looking at the Survivor 42 ratings, definitely had a big drop off, unfortunately, for the season finale, down to 5.1 million viewers. That's in comparison to Survivor Season 41, which had 5.6 million viewers. Overall, though, I'd say the average of the season was 5.368 to 5.56. So fairly similar, but slightly downtrended. Hopefully, in the next coming seasons, we can get those numbers back up again. A lot of people were talking about the reunion show, and I honestly didn't even watch the reunion show because last season it was just so awkward. I just didn't like it at all. I really want the real reunion show back, too. I don't like the live reading the vote on the island, and I think a lot of people online also share that same opinion. So I think I like the actual reunion shows better, the cast getting to see the show and everyone's moves and whatnot, plus the whole cast coming back. Because yeah, you want to see how your own edit was like. You get to see how the show was and then how your personality was received by the audience. And you also get to talk about moves that you didn't actually know about. And you get to answer questions with so much more nuance because you have so much more information. And so yeah, I honestly, Jeff recently said that he does not think that the reunion shows are going to be coming back. And I think a lot of people are disappointed by that, as am I. It also gives the cast time to digest what happened and to watch things from a neutral perspective on TV. The final 3 are completely wiped out. They seriously need to be given a break before the reunion. Following up on myself here, Jeff spent a lot of time at the reunion trying to get the contestants to validate twists and production decisions, but it's a skewed opinion and one they're forced to give under coercion. Not to mention that when one person compliments doesn't stand for how the viewers at home will receive it. Jeff also tried to justify the immediate reunion. He explicitly said they were searching for the rawest emotions possible. That sounds good, but it once again leaves the players themselves up shit's creek. The ethical thing to do would be to give them all a little time, even just a day, to decompress. Jeff is really losing me with his constant affirmation that his changes and twist ideas were great, like Do or Die, in creating instant reunions that he stated he was going to bring back. It was like he was running a focus group. I think this season proves once again whatever twists, idols, voting strategies, length of time, amount of food they give at tribes, etc. At the end of the day, all that matters is the cast. Good casts make good seasons, and mean or boring casts make bad seasons, whatever the format. And this was a top 5 or 10 cast that they've ever had. So anyways, yeah, that's my summation for season 42 of Survivor. Honestly, a really great season, especially the beginning and the mid portion. I was very excited by, and even in the end, it stayed strong, but I think it kind of tapered down a little bit for me, just with all the too much Jeff going on. You know, it's been a thing in recent seasons, but that was definitely something that I was noticing all throughout the last few episodes. So overall, awesome editing, awesome cast, really enjoyed this season. Definitely looking forward to next season. I think we had a satisfying winner. What do you think? Do you feel like Maryanne was a satisfying winner? And do you feel like the season was edited well? Do you think there are other things that could be improved on or that you'd like to see changed in future seasons? Let me know down in the comments down below. And thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.